Attack on minorities have been continuing in Bangladesh. Now, Chakmas are under attack. Bangladesh's army is a mute spectator, is what is being said from reports on the ground. The interim government, headed by the Nobel laureate Mohammad Yunus, has failed in protecting its own citizens. Meanwhile, in the latest attack on the Chakmas, over 100 houses and shops were set ablaze in the Chittagong Hill Tracts by illegal settlers from the plains. The Chakmas are indigenous to the Chittagong area. 9 people have in fact lost their lives in the latest clashes that have happened, and several of them have been injured. The violence has stemmed from an incident on 18th of September 2024 when a Bengali settler, MD Mamun, was allegedly beaten to death in the Kargchari area while attempting to steal a motorcycle. However, there are also reports that the man died after hitting an electric pole while trying to flee. Following Mamun's death, the Bengali settler community accused local indigenous residents of involvement and led to processions in many parts of the district against the indigenous tribes. One of these processions in Dinglala turned violent, and Bengali settlers started indiscriminately attacking indigenous people and setting fire to their homes and business establishment. This was supposed to be an organized attack on the indigenous hill tribes by the Bangladesh army and the illegal plains settlers. The Bangladesh army personnel who are stationed nearby the Dinglia cantonment did not intervene and rather provided support to the illegal plains settlers to carry on with arson of the Chakma area and localities. Rights and Risk Analysis Group has claimed that the attack was carried out in multiple locations, and such a large-scale assault on the indigenous community was taken place from the first time since 2007. These visuals show the nature of the attack on the Chakmas being a very indigenous tribal group to the Chittagong Tracts. They have been facing the onslaught of this ethnic conflict that has happened within the area. Meanwhile, it is also being said that the Chakmas have been facing huge issues when it comes to their safety, especially after the departure of the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, and now with the new dispensation, it is also being said that the settlers from the plains are trying to take over lands in the Chakma-dominated hill tracts. This has resulted in tensions between the Chakmas and the larger Bengali communities that stay at the plains and also who've tried to settle in the hill tracts. Several houses have been burnt, and some of them, shops and businesses, have also been looted. The Chakmas have been complaining that there is no help coming in from the Bangladesh army, who is said to be a mute spectator to the current condition that is there.
In the organized attack by the Bangladesh army and the illegal plain settlers in the Chittagong Hill Tracts of Bangladesh, about 9 tribals had shot dead yesterday at Khagrachari, whereas about 100 homes, shops, etc. of the Chakma and other tribal peoples have been burned down by the security forces and the illegal settlers. It basically shows that Nobel laureate Mohammad Yunus has failed to bring peace in the Chittagong Hill Tracts. And if this kind of atrocities continue to take place in the Chittagong Hill Tracts, then I think the human rights community all over the world shall be constrained to ask for removal or withdrawal of the Nobel laureate or the Nobel Prize given to him. Today, the Chakma leaders of India have asked Prime Minister Narendra Modi to basically downgrade diplomatic relations with the government of Bangladesh, because the systematic attacks on the religious minorities and the indigenous hill tribes of the CHT with the sole aim to make Bangladesh a monolithic Islamic country is unacceptable. The Prathamalo had reported that immediately after the fall of Hasina's government on 6th August, about 1,090 incidents had taken place in which properties and the places of warships were destroyed. And similarly, yesterday, the Bangladesh army personnel guided the illegal settlers to attack the Chakma and other tribal peoples in Diginala as well as in Khagrachari district. And if this situation continues, obviously, as I say, the international community must intervene with the government of Bangladesh, because there is a need to remember for the international community the atrocities which are being perpetrated on the religious minorities and the hill tribes had not taken place under the Sheikh Hasina's prime ministership. So if this government wants to be different, then in that case they have to immediately stop this kind of targeted ethnic profiling, targeted killing, and, and indirect means of ethnic cleansing in the Chittagong Hill Tracts.
Meanwhile, the violent attack on the Chakma community was a retaliatory act against the peaceful demonstrations on the took place on Wednesday. The indigenous students organized the March of Identity at Kalchari, in which 40,000 tribals participated, demanding recognition of their rights and guarantee for a distinct identity. Indigenous Chakma groups allege that systematic military-led process has been taking place against them from 1979 to 1983 to facilitate the influx of at least 5 lakh plain settlers into the Chittagong area. They argue that the influx has been reduced to the rights of the indigenous people of the region over their own land. The Chakma community representatives of India wrote a letter to Prime Minister Modi against the organized killing of the hill tribes by the Bangladeshi army and illegal plain settlers, and requested the government to downgrade diplomatic relations with Bangladesh till attack on lives and properties of the indigenous people stop.